All right, that was Veteran Affairs Assistant Secretary Tommy Sowers on Morning Joe in late March defending the Obama administration's efforts to fix the backlog of claims for veteran disability benefits. And here with us now, Republican representative from Florida and chairman of the Committee on Veterans Affairs, Congressman Jeff Miller. And in New York, CEO and founder of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, Paul Rieckhoff, back on the show. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Let me try and take the other side to what is a national disgrace. And is there an argument that we could not have predicted the repeat tours of duties and the trauma not only on our veterans but their families, to the point where the backlog makes any sense to you in any way, because it just seems completely disgraceful?
I mean, we've been at this for 10 years now. You'd think that somebody would have figured it out.
What's going on?
Well, I think there's a problem with leadership. I really do. I also think there's a problem with management within the system itself. They're hanging their hat on a lot of newfangled ideas like this Veterans Benefit Management system that they're supposed to be rolling out. Now we're hearing through the grapevine that it crashed on Monday because there was too much information being pushed into the system. I don't want the veterans to have to wait another day on this, and I think that it's important that the president step forward and get involved. And
some of them have been waiting for quite some time. This is not, I mean...
How about 400 and 500 days to get a yes or a no out of their claims? I mean, there are some regional offices that are doing good work, but you've got others that are woefully behind. VA has had to close the LA office, the Oakland office, and the Baltimore, Maryland office for total retraining. And so it's unacceptable to those 900,000 veterans that are waiting right now.
Congressman, apparently a lot of this is because of what's called a rise in complicated claims. Can you explain to us what that means?
You know, Mark, the interesting thing, if you go back to 1995, you will see the exact same testimony before the House Veterans Affairs Committee for the backlog that existed back then. Complicated claims, veterans coming out of the system. So here we are in 2013 using the same old excuses over and over again. It is amazing if you walk into one of these regional offices, all you will see is stacks and stacks of paper. In the 21st century, without having digital records for these veterans, it's going to be very difficult for the VA to
So complicated claim is not like a technical term, it just means it's like hard.
Yeah, it's hard. That's exactly right.
Hey, Paul, I want to ask you, what is it at this point do you think the administration needs to do, must do, to the Congressman's point, to begin to break down this backlog, to recognize, I mean, it's one thing for the Assistant Secretary to sit there and go, oh, you know, we're out of 2 wars and we're winding down and the troops are coming home. That's great. But when they get home to a system that cannot even get their name into a computer without breaking down, what are you seeing right now needs to be the real push here to get this thing done?
We need to hear from the President of the United States. And ever since this national controversy emerged a few weeks ago, we still have not heard from the President of the United States. He needs to get involved, because it's not just about VA, it's also about the Department of Defense and making sure that the two complicated, massive bureaucracies can talk to each other. We need presidential leadership. It's great that Chairman Miller's here. He's been a strong leader for veterans over the last couple of years, and it's good to see him involved. We also need to see Bernie Sanders on the Senate side step up, press the outrage that we've heard from across the country in the last few weeks. I mean, 97% of claims are on paper. That's how backward this system is. And in places like Reno, Chicago, New York, LA, it's 600 days if you file a claim. That's unacceptable. The number you showed, the 200 range, that's the average. I hear from veterans all the time. Last night I heard from one on Twitter who's a Purple Heart recipient who's been waiting 3 years. 3 years.
Come on.
Okay, so that's how long people are waiting. That's just an average. I routinely hear from folks who are waiting 900, 1,000 days, and everybody in America is outraged. And now we need action from the President.
Congressman, what are you trying to do to fix this? It just seems beyond stunning that we're 2013 and these claims are going through, and these waits and processes that seem to be, I don't know, maybe circa 1961.
Well, I think the important thing to look at is a little bit of a history. We have given the Congress in Democratic Congresses, Republican Congresses, everything that the department has asked for, whether it's money or people or technology or hardware, we've given it to them. Something is breaking down somewhere, and I think what's happening is that there's a fear within the system to be able to move those out that aren't able to do their job. It's not fair that a veteran's file would sit literally for 2 years without ever being opened the very first time.
Well, what's the holdup to digitizing these files? Paul just said that 97% remain on paper. That seems ludicrous to me in this day and age.
Well, finally, the VA is working on a system that will, in fact, do that. But Paul just said one of the big issues out there is the Department of Defense is pushing back with VA. Congress mandated at one time that they would have one single electronic health record. Now the Department of Defense, after spending hundreds of millions of dollars, has come out and said, we can't do it. We're going to have to figure out another way to make it happen. If we can't get to a single
what is going on?
A lot of
I'll give them my laptop. I'll give them my laptop, and they
Do you
can
guys
plug
want to
into
borrow
it. I mean, come
a
on.
computer?
And it's getting worse, guys. It's getting
What an
worse.
insult.
Just in the last week, it's gone up a couple thousand. So we were just over 600,000. In the last week, it's gone up another couple thousand. So it continues to go in the wrong direction. And the impact for our veterans on the ground is tremendous. It's 3 years, potentially, of waiting to find out what's going to happen to your finances. How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to take care of your kids? This is not just about Washington bureaucrats. It's about men and women who served overseas, sometimes repeated tours, and are now stuck in this inexcusable bureaucracy.
What can we do, Congressman or Paul, I mean, beyond talking about it here, because this just seems like an insult to where we stand as Americans.
We all need to pressure the president. The president's got to step in here, show presidential leadership, rally the country, rally everybody he can around fixing this problem until we get to backlog zero. Even on Friday, when Secretary Shinseki was asked, when are you going to fix it? He said 2015. They said, when in 2015? He said 2015. We don't even know what month in 2015 this is going to get fixed. That's unacceptable.
Let me go a little bit further than that. When I asked them in testimony a couple of weeks ago, okay, so if you're going to fix it all by 2015, tell me where you're going to be next year in 2014. No answer. They have no idea.
Well, and the veteran waiting 325 days. Are they going to wait till 2015? Just is someone doing anything right now?
I will tell you this. There are some regional offices that are doing very well, and they are focusing on trying to retrain some of their employees. But the fact remains, there are people within the system, I honestly believe, that they're not doing their job, and some of the leaders within the system don't want to move them out. And what the VA is real good at doing is recycling employees into something else. If they can't do their job adjudicating claims or being able to set claims up, they'll move into another position.
Congressman Jeff Miller, thank you very much, and Paul Rykoff, thank you as well. Let us know what we can do to help you. Still ahead on Morning